The Art of Silence, Embracing Stillness in a Noisy World, Unlocking Inner Peace, Focus, and Creative Potential by James R. Sterling. Have you ever felt like the world is just too loud? Not just in the literal sense, the honking cars, the chatter of crowded spaces, but in the unrelenting mental noise that seems to follow us everywhere? Notifications buzz, to-do lists grow, conversations demand our attention, and somewhere in the chaos, our inner voice gets drowned out. It wasn't always like this. There was a time when people sat quietly under the stars, listened to the whispers of the wind, and allowed their thoughts to settle like snow in a globe. But today, silence feels like a forgotten art. It's something many of us avoid, even fear. Why? Because silence forces us to confront what's inside. I remember the first time I truly embraced silence. It wasn't a deliberate choice, more of a consequence of circumstance. I had gone on a hiking trip with friends, and we found ourselves deep in the wilderness, miles away from any cell signal. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, a hush fell over the camp. No one spoke, and for the first time in years, I was left alone with my thoughts. At first, it was uncomfortable. The quiet felt heavy, almost oppressive. But as the minutes stretched into hours, something remarkable happened. The clutter in my mind began to clear. Ideas that had been buried under the noise surfaced. I felt calm, centered, and alive. That experience taught me a lesson I've carried ever since. Silence isn't just the absence of noise. It's the presence of clarity. It's in these moments of stillness that we reconnect with our true selves, uncover our deepest truths, and find the strength to move forward with purpose. But in a world that thrives on constant stimulation, how do we make room for silence? And more importantly, why should we? This book is about answering those questions. It's about rediscovering the art of silence and understanding its profound impact on every aspect of our lives, from our mental well-being to our creativity, relationships, and even productivity. As we begin this journey together, I invite you to imagine what your life could look like if you embraced even a fraction of the stillness you've been avoiding. What ideas might surface? What stress might dissolve? What version of yourself might emerge? Let's explore the symphony of silence, a world where less noise leads to more clarity and where embracing stillness unlocks your full potential. It's time to turn down the volume and truly listen. Chapter 1: The Science of Silence. In a world obsessed with productivity, it's easy to dismiss silence as unimportant, a void that needs to be filled. But what if silence isn't empty? What if it's a powerful tool, brimming with potential to transform your mental, emotional, and even physical health? Science has shown us that silence is not just a break from noise. It's a state that our minds and bodies crave, one that can unlock extraordinary benefits. Let's start with the brain, the control center of all our thoughts, actions, and emotions. Neuroscience reveals that silence doesn't just calm the mind, it actively rewires it. A landmark study published in Brain Structure and Function found that 2 hours of silence per day could lead to the growth of new cells in the hippocampus, a region associated with memory, learning, and emotions. Imagine that, a quiet environment literally helping your brain regenerate itself. Beyond cellular growth, silence has a profound impact on creativity. Have you ever noticed how your best ideas often come to you in the shower, on a long walk, or in those rare moments when your surroundings are quiet? This is no coincidence. When the brain isn't bombarded by external stimuli, the default mode network, a group of interconnected brain regions, becomes active. This network is responsible for introspection, problem solving, and connecting disparate ideas. In silence, your brain has the space it needs to make these creative leaps. From a psychological perspective, silence acts as a detox for the mind. Constant noise, whether from digital devices, busy environments, or our own racing thoughts, keeps the brain in a state of heightened arousal. Over time, this can lead to chronic stress, anxiety, and even burnout. Silence, however, allows the nervous system to shift from a state of fight or flight to one of rest and digest. Cortisol levels drop, heart rates stabilize, and a sense of calm washes over you. Take the example of Sarah, a high-powered executive who found herself on the verge of burnout. Her days were filled with back-to-back meetings, endless emails, and the constant ping of notifications. At her doctor's recommendation, she began practicing 15 minutes of silence each morning. At first, she struggled to sit still. Her mind would wander, and she felt impatient. But over time, she began to notice a shift. Her stress levels decreased, her focus improved, and she even started generating more innovative ideas at work. Sarah's experience isn't unique. It's a testament to the restorative power of silence. Silence doesn't just benefit the mind, it's also a boon for physical health. Research shows that quiet environments can lower blood pressure, improve sleep quality, and even enhance the immune system. One study conducted in a noisy hospital found that reducing sound levels significantly improved patients' recovery times. The absence of noise isn't just about comfort, it's a catalyst for healing. Given these benefits, how can we incorporate silence into our busy lives? Start small. Carve out a few minutes each day to step away from the noise. Turn off your phone, find a quiet space, and simply sit. Pay attention to your breath, your thoughts, or the subtle sounds around you. Over time, these moments of stillness will begin to feel less like a luxury and more like a necessity. As we delve deeper into the art of silence, remember this. Silence isn't the absence of activity, it's the presence of awareness. It's a state where your mind can reset, your body can heal, and your true potential can emerge. In the following chapters, we'll explore how to harness this power in practical, meaningful ways. For now, take a moment to reflect on how silence has already shaped your life. Whether through a peaceful walk in nature, a quiet morning, or even a single deep breath amidst chaos. The science is clear. Silence is not just golden, it's essential. Chapter 2. Finding quiet in chaos. In today's world, silence often feels like a luxury few can afford. We're constantly surrounded by noise, both external and internal. From the hum of traffic to the endless stream of digital notifications, it seems almost impossible to find a moment of stillness. Yet in the midst of this chaos, cultivating silence isn't just possible, it's essential for our well-being. One of the first steps to finding quiet is recognizing that silence doesn't always mean the complete absence of sound. It's about creating intentional moments of stillness where you can disconnect from the noise and reconnect with yourself. Consider the story of James, a busy father of three who works long hours in a bustling office. For years, he felt overwhelmed and exhausted, struggling to keep up with his responsibilities. It wasn't until he started practicing 5 minutes of silence during his lunch breaks that he began to feel a shift. Sitting alone in his car, away from the chatter of his coworkers and the demands of his phone, James found a sense of clarity and calm he hadn't experienced in years. Silence can take many forms. It might mean stepping away from a noisy environment, turning off your devices, or simply pausing for a few deep breaths. Practical strategies to create these moments include setting boundaries around technology use, scheduling regular breaks for quiet reflection, and finding spaces that encourage stillness, such as parks, libraries, or even a quiet corner in your home. By making these small changes, you can create pockets of silence in your daily routine, even amidst the busiest of schedules. Another key to embracing silence is overcoming the fear of it. For many, silence can feel uncomfortable or even intimidating. It forces us to confront our thoughts and emotions, some of which we might prefer to avoid. But it's precisely this confrontation that makes silence so powerful. By sitting with discomfort, we learn to process our feelings, gain insight into our inner world, and ultimately grow stronger and more self-aware. Take, for example, Emily, a college student who always had music or a podcast playing in the background. She feared silence because it made her anxious and brought up unresolved worries. However, after attending a meditation workshop, she challenged herself to spend 10 minutes each day in quiet reflection. At first, it was difficult, but over time, Emily discovered that these moments of stillness helped her feel more grounded and less overwhelmed by her thoughts. Creating quiet moments isn't just about finding physical silence. It's also about cultivating mental stillness. Mindfulness practices, such as focusing on your breath or observing your surroundings without judgment, can help quiet the mental chatter that often dominates our minds. When you train yourself to be present in the moment, you'll find that even a noisy environment can feel more serene. Ultimately, finding quiet in chaos is about prioritizing your inner peace. It's a practice that requires intention, patience, and a willingness to let go of distractions. As you integrate moments of silence into your life, you'll begin to notice subtle but profound changes. A clearer mind, a calmer heart, and a deeper connection to yourself and the world around you. In the next chapter, we'll explore how silence can enhance your relationships by fostering empathy, understanding, and authentic communication. Chapter 3. Silence as a creative catalyst. Silence and creativity may seem like unlikely companions in a world where brainstorming sessions, team meetings, and collaborative noise are celebrated as the breeding grounds for innovation. Yet history and science reveal a different story. Silence is not merely the absence of sound, but a fertile space where groundbreaking ideas are born and nurtured. Consider the story of Albert Einstein, one of the greatest minds in history. Known for his profound contributions to physics, Einstein often credited silence and solitude as essential to his creative process. He would take long walks alone, letting his mind wander freely. It was during these moments of quiet reflection that many of his most revolutionary ideas, including the theory of relativity, began to take shape. Einstein's story is a testament to how silence can clear the mental clutter, allowing the mind to connect seemingly unrelated ideas in innovative ways. The connection between silence and creativity is deeply rooted in neuroscience. The brain's default mode network, DMN, becomes active during periods of rest and introspection. This network, often called the brain's idea generator, is responsible for daydreaming, envisioning the future, and solving complex problems. When we step away from external distractions and embrace silence, the DMN gets the space it needs to flourish. This is why your best ideas often emerge when you're in the shower, taking a quiet drive, or lying in bed at night. Silence doesn't just foster creativity, it also helps resolve problems that seem insurmountable in noisy, overstimulated environments. For example, Steve, a software engineer, was stuck on a complex coding problem for weeks. After countless hours of noisy meetings and collaborative troubleshooting, he decided to step away. He spent an afternoon hiking in a nearby forest, surrounded by nothing but the rustle of leaves and the chirping of birds. In that tranquil setting, the solution suddenly came to him, almost as if his brain had been waiting for the quiet to process the issue fully. The power of silence as a creative catalyst is not limited to individuals. Teams and organizations can also benefit by incorporating moments of quiet into their work culture. Consider the practices of 3M, the company behind innovations like Post-it notes and Scotch tape. Employees are encouraged to dedicate 15% of their work time to quiet, independent exploration of ideas. This practice has led to some of the company's most successful products and serves as a model for how silence can drive innovation in group settings. How can you harness silence to fuel your own creativity? Start by scheduling regular periods of quiet in your daily routine. This might mean setting aside time for solitary walks, meditating, or simply sitting in a peaceful environment without distractions. It's also helpful to create a dedicated space for silence, a room, a corner of your home, or even a favorite outdoor spot where you can retreat when you need to think deeply or recharge. Another practical strategy is to disconnect from technology. Silence is not just about the absence of noise, but also the absence of constant digital stimulation. Turning off your phone, stepping away from your computer, and unplugging from social media can create the mental space necessary for inspiration to strike. Experiment with digital detox periods where you intentionally disconnect for an hour, a day, or even longer. Finally, don't be afraid to let your mind wander. In a culture that values productivity and focus, daydreaming is often seen as a waste of time. However, research shows that allowing your thoughts to drift in silence can lead to moments of insight and innovation. Give yourself permission to let your imagination roam freely, trusting that the answers and ideas you seek may emerge from the quiet. Silence, when embraced intentionally, becomes more than a pause in the noise. It transforms into a powerful force for creativity and problem solving. By weaving moments of stillness into your life, you can unlock new ideas, overcome challenges, and tap into a wellspring of inspiration that lies just beneath the surface of everyday distractions. In the next chapter, we'll explore how silence can strengthen your relationships, teaching us the value of listening, empathy, and meaningful connection. Chapter 4. The Role of Silence in Relationships. In a world dominated by constant communication, the value of silence in relationships is often overlooked. Yet silence holds the power to transform how we connect with others, fostering deeper understanding and more meaningful bonds. Whether in personal or professional settings, the ability to embrace silence can be a game changer. One of the most profound ways silence influences relationships is by enhancing the art of listening. Too often, conversations become a race to speak rather than an opportunity to truly hear one another. Silence, when used intentionally, creates a space where active listening can thrive. For instance, consider a story about Maria and her teenage son, Liam. Their relationship had been strained by frequent arguments and misunderstandings. One day, Maria decided to try something different. Instead of interrupting or offering advice during their conversations, she chose to simply listen. At first, the silence felt awkward, but it soon encouraged Liam to open up about his struggles at school. Maria's willingness to embrace silence allowed her to connect with her son on a deeper level, bridging a gap that had long divided them. Silence also has the power to diffuse tension and foster understanding in moments of conflict. When emotions run high, the instinct to respond immediately can escalate disagreements. By pausing and allowing a moment of silence, we create room for reflection and emotional regulation. This pause can prevent hurtful words and lead to more constructive discussions. In professional settings, this practice is often employed by skilled negotiators who understand the strategic power of silence in creating opportunities for compromise and collaboration. Another way silence strengthens relationships is by encouraging mindfulness and presence. In our fast-paced lives, it's easy to become distracted, even in the presence of those we care about. Practicing silence, whether during a shared walk, a quiet dinner, or a moment of meditation, can help cultivate a sense of being fully present with one another. For example, Sarah and Daniel, a busy couple juggling demanding careers, began dedicating 5 minutes of shared silence each evening before dinner. This simple ritual allowed them to reconnect, set aside the stresses of the day, and be more attentive to each other's needs. Silence can also deepen our empathy. When we allow ourselves to sit in silence with someone who is grieving or struggling, we offer them the gift of presence without the pressure of words. This silent support can be profoundly comforting as it communicates care and understanding beyond what language can convey. It's a lesson that caregivers and counselors often learn. Sometimes the most meaningful thing we can do is simply be there. In professional relationships, silence can enhance leadership and team dynamics. Leaders who are comfortable with silence often create environments where others feel empowered to contribute. By resisting the urge to fill every pause, these leaders signal that they value input and are open to diverse perspectives. Similarly, teams that incorporate moments of silence into their meetings, whether for individual reflection or group mindfulness, often report higher levels of creativity, focus, and collaboration. How can you harness the power of silence to strengthen your relationships? Start by practicing active listening in your conversations. Instead of planning your next response, focus on truly hearing the other person. Use silence as a tool to reflect before reacting, especially during conflicts. Introduce shared moments of quiet into your daily routines. And don't underestimate the value of simply being present with someone who needs your support. By embracing silence in our interactions, we can create deeper, more authentic connections. It reminds us that communication isn't just about the words we say, but about the spaces we share. In the next chapter, we'll explore how silence can become a spiritual practice, offering a path to greater inner peace and self-discovery. Chapter 5. Meditation and Mindfulness. Gateway to Inner Silence. In a world driven by constant distractions and ceaseless demands, the practice of meditation and mindfulness offers a sanctuary of silence, a gateway to inner peace and clarity. While the external world buzzes with activity, these practices invite us to turn inward, cultivating stillness and presence within ourselves. Meditation at its core is the art of sitting with silence. It's an ancient practice rooted in traditions from Buddhism to Hinduism and embraced by modern science for its transformative effects on the mind and body. One powerful example of meditation's impact can be seen in the story of Peter, a high-powered executive struggling with stress and burnout. Despite his initial skepticism, Peter began meditating for just 10 minutes a day. Over time, he noticed profound changes. His anxiety levels dropped, his decision-making improved, and he approached challenges with newfound calm. What Peter discovered was not just a tool for relaxation, but a pathway to profound inner silence that enriched every aspect of his life. The science behind meditation is compelling. Studies have shown that regular meditation can reduce cortisol levels, improve heart health, and even alter brain structure. Functional MRI scans reveal that consistent meditation strengthens the prefrontal cortex associated with focus and emotional regulation, while calming the amygdala, the brain's fear center. These changes help create a state of relaxed alertness, making it easier to navigate life's ups and downs with equanimity. Mindfulness, closely related to meditation, is the practice of bringing full attention to the present moment. Unlike meditation, which often involves dedicated time and space, mindfulness can be practiced anywhere, during a walk, while eating, or even in the midst of a hectic day. Consider the story of Emily, a teacher overwhelmed by her workload and the constant chatter of her students. By incorporating mindfulness into her daily routine, she learned to pause and take 3 deep breaths before reacting to challenging situations. This simple practice helped her cultivate patience and reconnect with a sense of calm amidst the chaos. At the heart of both meditation and mindfulness lies the concept of non-judgmental awareness. This means observing thoughts, emotions, and sensations without clinging to them or pushing them away. When practiced regularly, this awareness helps us break free from the cycles of overthinking and self-criticism that often dominate our inner world. Instead of getting lost in mental noise, we learn to sit with silence, allowing clarity and insight to emerge naturally. For those new to these practices, starting small can make all the difference. Begin with just 5 minutes of seated meditation each day. Find a quiet spot, close your eyes, and focus on your breath. If your mind wanders, gently bring your attention back to your breathing, without judgment. Over time, this practice will become a refuge, a space where you can reconnect with your inner self, no matter what's happening around you. To cultivate mindfulness, try incorporating it into daily activities. During your morning coffee, take a moment to savor the aroma, taste, and warmth of the drink. On your commute, instead of scrolling through your phone, observe the sights, sounds, and sensations around you. These small acts of presence help anchor you in the now, transforming mundane moments into opportunities for connection and peace. Silence, as cultivated through meditation and mindfulness, becomes more than a pause in noise. It's a profound state of being that allows us to access our truest selves. In this inner stillness, we find not only relief from the pressures of the external world, but also a wellspring of creativity, resilience, and joy. It's here in the depths of silence that we begin to understand that peace isn't something we find. It's something we uncover within ourselves. As we continue this journey, let's explore how embracing silence can deepen our spiritual connection, offering insights and transformations that ripple through every aspect of our lives. Chapter 6: The Spiritual Dimension of Silence. Silence has been revered across cultures and spiritual traditions as a pathway to deeper understanding and enlightenment. It transcends language, becoming a sacred space where the boundaries between the self and the universe dissolve. In this chapter, we'll explore how silence has been embraced by various traditions and how it can lead us to profound self-discovery. In many ancient spiritual practices, silence is seen as a way to connect with the divine. For example, in Christian monastic traditions, the practice of silent prayer, known as contemplative prayer, is a cornerstone of spiritual life. Monks retreat into silence to listen for the still, small voice of God. Similarly, in Buddhism, the practice of vipassana meditation focuses on observing silence to cultivate mindfulness and insight. This ancient tradition teaches practitioners to sit in silence for extended periods, observing their breath and sensations, ultimately leading to a deeper understanding of impermanence and interconnectedness. Silence is also central to indigenous practices worldwide. Native American traditions, for instance, often emphasize the importance of silence in connecting with nature and receiving wisdom from the earth. Vision quests, a rite of passage for many tribes, involve solitary time in the wilderness, where individuals remain in silence to seek guidance and clarity. These moments of quiet introspection are seen as essential for personal and spiritual growth. Modern spiritual seekers, too, find value in silence as a means to rediscover themselves. Take the story of Maya, a tech entrepreneur who felt overwhelmed by the constant noise of her career and social media. Inspired by the teachings of Thich Nhat Hanh, she attended a silent retreat in the countryside. Over several days of silence, Maya confronted her inner restlessness and uncovered a sense of peace she hadn't known in years. The experience taught her that silence wasn't just the absence of sound. It was a presence, a teacher guiding her back to herself. The spiritual dimension of silence also lies in its ability to strip away distractions, allowing us to confront our innermost truths. This can be both enlightening and challenging. In silence, there is no external noise to drown out our fears, doubts, or unresolved emotions. Instead, we are invited to sit with these feelings, to acknowledge and understand them. This process, though uncomfortable, often leads to profound healing and self-awareness. As the Sufi mystic Rumi wrote, "Silence is the language of God. All else is poor translation." Practical steps to embrace the spiritual power of silence include creating intentional moments of quiet in your day. This could mean starting your morning with 5 minutes of stillness, turning off all devices during a walk in nature, or dedicating a weekend to a personal retreat. Journaling during or after these moments can also help capture the insights that arise from silence. Incorporating silence into your spiritual practice doesn't require a specific belief system. It is a universal language, available to anyone willing to listen. By stepping away from the noise and embracing the stillness, we open ourselves to a vast inner landscape, filled with wisdom, creativity, and peace. Silence is not empty. It is full of potential, a gateway to the divine, and a mirror reflecting our truest selves. As we continue this journey, let us remember the words of the Tao Te Ching. Silence is a source of great strength. In the next chapter, we'll explore how to integrate the lessons of silence into everyday life, transforming the ordinary into the extraordinary. Chapter 7. Integrating silence into daily life. Silence, as powerful and transformative as it is, can seem elusive in the rhythm of our daily lives. Yet integrating moments of quiet into our routines doesn't require drastic measures. It's about cultivating small, intentional habits that invite stillness into the fabric of our existence. One of the simplest ways to embrace silence is by creating rituals. Morning rituals, for instance, can set the tone for your entire day. Consider starting your morning with 5 minutes of quiet reflection. This might involve sitting with a cup of tea, watching the sunrise, or practicing deep breathing. These moments of stillness allow you to center yourself before the day's demands take hold. Similarly, end your day with a period of silence to reflect, unwind, and prepare your mind for restful sleep. Another strategy is to establish tech-free zones in your home or workplace. The constant ping of notifications and the lure of digital devices can fragment our attention and disrupt the peace we seek. Designate certain spaces, like the dining room or bedroom, as digital-free sanctuaries. By creating boundaries, you carve out spaces where silence can naturally flourish. Consider the story of Alex, a graphic designer who felt perpetually drained by the demands of his career. After reading about the benefits of silence, Alex implemented a daily power hour in his home office. During this time, he turned off all devices, set a timer, and focused solely on creative tasks. He found that not only did his productivity soar, but his stress levels also diminished. The absence of external distractions allowed his mind to enter a state of flow, unlocking a deeper level of focus and creativity. Another powerful tool for integrating silence is the practice of a weekly digital detox. This could mean setting aside a few hours, a day, or an entire weekend to disconnect from the digital world. Use this time to engage in activities that nourish your soul, such as hiking, reading, or simply sitting in nature. These intentional breaks from technology can rejuvenate your mind and body, reminding you of the richness of the present moment. Incorporating silence into daily life also means learning to embrace quiet moments that already exist. Waiting in line, commuting, or taking a lunch break. These often overlooked pockets of time are perfect opportunities to pause and reconnect with yourself. Instead of reaching for your phone or filling the void with noise, use these moments to breathe deeply, observe your surroundings, or simply enjoy the stillness. The key to sustaining these practices is consistency. Habits take time to form, so start small and build gradually. Begin with a single ritual such as a morning moment of silence and expand as you feel comfortable. Over time, these practices will become second nature, seamlessly weaving silence into the rhythm of your life. When silence becomes a daily companion, its benefits ripple through every aspect of your being. It sharpens your focus, enhances your creativity, and nurtures your emotional well-being. More importantly, it connects you with the present moment, reminding you of the beauty and simplicity of just being. As we conclude this exploration of silence, remember that integrating quiet into daily life is not about escaping the noise, but about finding balance. It's about creating spaces where you can hear the whispers of your inner voice and feel the pulse of the world around you. By embracing silence, you invite harmony, clarity, and joy into your life, one quiet moment at a time. Conclusion: the power of presence. As we come to the end of this journey, it's clear that silence is more than just the absence of noise. It's a profound presence that shapes our inner and outer worlds. The power of silence lies in its ability to ground us in the present moment, allowing us to connect with ourselves, others, and the universe in meaningful ways. Reflect for a moment on the lessons we've explored. Silence as a creative catalyst, a healer, a tool for mindfulness, and a gateway to spiritual awakening. Each chapter has shown that silence is not a void, but a vibrant space filled with potential and wisdom. It's in the quiet that we rediscover who we are and what truly matters. Take the story of Olivia, a busy professional who always felt like life was slipping through her fingers. After integrating small moments of silence into her day, a morning pause before the world stirred, a quiet evening walk, she found that her sense of time shifted. Life slowed down, and with it, her appreciation for the simple joys around her grew. Silence became her sanctuary, a place where she could reflect, recharge, and reconnect. As you reflect on your own journey, consider how silence can transform your life. Begin by asking yourself, where can I invite more stillness? Perhaps it's in the early hours of the morning, in the pause before answering a question, or in a weekend retreat away from the hustle and bustle. The key is to start small and be intentional. Silence doesn't demand grand gestures. It thrives in simplicity. This is a call to action. Let's create a quieter, more connected world by embracing the power of presence. Imagine a life where the noise of distractions fades and the melody of mindfulness takes its place. By cultivating silence, we not only enrich our lives but also inspire others to find peace within themselves. As Rainer Maria Rilke once wrote, "The only journey is the one within." Let silence be your compass on this inner journey, guiding you to a life of clarity, purpose, and joy. Thank you for walking this path with us. May your days be filled with moments of quiet reflection, and may you always find strength in the stillness. This is not an end, but a beginning, an invitation to live fully, deeply, and authentically through the art of silence. Thank you for joining us on this journey of self-discovery. If you found value in today's content, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more empowering audiobooks and insights. Make sure to check the description below for more information, links to our other content, and ways to stay connected with us. Your journey within starts here. Let's grow together. Until next time, keep exploring, keep growing, and stay inspired.